Elisa Franz, escorted by parents Elisa and Dwayne Franz and her siblings. Natalia Garcia, escorted by her parents Marco and Elia Garcia, brother Michelle Garcia, and cousin Gabby. Kevin Eli Wonders, escorted by parents Maribellis and Darren Wonders and brother James. Haley Cheney, escorted by mother Caladia Cheney, brother Israel Woodard, sister Jasmine Woodard, and sister Aya Cheney. Ian Ochoa, escorted by parents Maria and Yayo Ochoa and sister Alvi. Max Bergwall, escorted by parents Shauna and Jason Bergwall, brother Bryson, and grandparents Dale and Elaine Barrow. Ethan Tillett, escorted by parents Sean and Robin Tillett.
I'll take my pants back.
Katie Lemire, escorted by parents Sarah and Gregory Lemire and sister Kayla. Next are Jenna and Julian Schwellebland, escorted by their parents, Terry and Ward Schwellebland, grandmother Judy Kolish, and sister Haley. Michaela Gonzalez, escorted by mother Lisa Luca and stepfather Mario Luca. Osha Smith, escorted by mother Deborah Braden, brother Ivy, brother Khalil, and sister Kiedra. Connor Strauss, escorted by his parents Claire and Derek Strauss, sister Isabella, and brother James. Max Dross, escorted by parents Josh and Michelle Dross, and brother Joey. Christian Taylor, escorted by parents David and Heather Taylor. Joshua Bowen, escorted by parents Rachel and Kevin Bowen, and sister Destiny. Santuan Mays, escorted by parents Santos and Vaughn Mays, sister Santasia, grandparents Gordon and Sharon Yardy, and cousins Anthony and Zay Yardy. Joshua Humphreys, escorted by mother Lisa Marer, stepfather Ed Marer, father Stephen Humphreys, and brother Eddie. Shane Stewart, escorted by parents Xavier and Chanel Knowles. George Maya, escorted by band director Luke Hart and friends Natalia Garcia, Connor Strauss, and Santuan Mays. The Lakeland High School Booster Board would also like to say a special thank you to Barb Cottrell for her 15 years of dedicated service in coordinating the senior night festivities. You will be greatly missed, Barb.
we're about getting ready. Yep.
How much time have we got, Tim?
It's 7:20. Maybe 10 minutes. Welcome, everyone, to the press box high above the rain-soaked Bill Castle Field. Let's pause for the national anthem real quick. We'll be right with you. All right, back at it officially. That was a quick intro, and then we had the national anthem. Boy, I think that was a Lakeland High School graduate, either a senior. They did it proud. Fantastic job with the national anthem.
Really good job, Tim.
Right there. So, Fred Lopez, Tim Conti here tonight to welcome you to Bryant Stadium and the last regular season game. Are you kidding me? Hard to believe. We're already there at the 10th game, the last game, district game. And, of course, the rival Kathleen Red Devils show up here to Bryant Stadium to put on a show tonight. You know, we always talk, Fred, about throwing those schedules away or throwing the scores away. Doesn't matter what the teams are like. This is always a great contest. However, tough task for the Red Devils tonight. They come in at 2-7, 0-2 in the district. The Dreadnaughts on a roll. As you might talk here, the Dreadnaughts have only allowed 12 some odd points in the last 5 games. I mean, incredible, and they've scored over 200 points. So, really tall task for the Red Devils. We're not gonna make light of it and say they are gonna kill the Dreadnaughts, or it's gonna be. They hope to hang in there and make it some kind of contest, maybe surprise the Dreadnaughts a little bit. But this one, I'm not going to say cakewalk, but the Dreadnaughts should take care of business tonight.
I think they should.
Yeah.
In fine classic fashion, I was on the phone with Coach Castle this morning, and I said, tell me a little bit about the Red Devils. And I heard him cry for about 15 minutes about how good they are, how talented they are. And of course, we have a few players that have transferred over, and they're on the team. And, but they're a very talented bunch. And all joking aside, you really can never really, and I remember when I was coaching and I was on staff, you never want to underestimate your opponent. Kathleen's loaded with talent. They've got they've got really good fast defense. They've got a lot of talent, especially at the quarterback position on offense. You're going to see a lot of different looks tonight. You're going to see some split backfield, some single backfield. Okay. Quarterback can make plays. But if all goes well, what we're hoping tonight is to avoid injuries, come away with a nice win. That way we can go into the final week with a bye as we prepare for the playoffs.
and that is preparing for that playoffs. Obviously, the last couple games, some district games, we prevailed in fine fashion. Again, that defense.
Some not so good weather.
Under not so good weather. And again, a little bit battling some here tonight. It just about downpour about 10 minutes ago. Has subsided a little bit. Still some scattered showers in the forecast, so we'll see if that affects the game tonight. But, the Dreadnaughts really in command at this point. And we expect to see these seniors on a senior night really come to play. It was, of course, senior night, so a little bit late in getting started. But you mentioned to me, and it's a little bit of a surprise, you kind of realize it as you're calling the game, but this Lakeland team is riddled with seniors. Only a few underclassmen really even playing on the starting side of things. Yeah,
we've got one underclassman on the offense and two underclassmen on the defense. And so it's a very experienced football team. They're very mature. Coach has been very proud of them all season long. Tonight is about execution. It's about the players coming out, taking care of business. They're used to playing now in some bad weather, so it looks like the rain's kind of died down. So we're hoping that tonight is just some good fundamentals, avoid injuries, get the win, have a bye week off, start thinking about what to do to prepare for the playoffs. And the playoffs are the playoff picture is pretty exciting. It's neat to see that we're back in the mix again.
Yeah, again, we don't want to paint. I think I was looking at some of the stats as we do. It's fun to look at. The Red Devils, I think, are ranked 250 or something in the state, and the Dreadnaughts, of course, ranked either second, third, or fourth in the state.
They were ranked second in 7A.
Somewhere in the top, 15 to 20 in the nation, depending on which poll is. The Dreadnaughts, of course.
Correct.
And the Red Devils, some 4,400 and something in the nation. So, again, a tough task as your Dreadnaughts are now coming onto the field, the runway of victory, and a very special banner tonight as we may look. I don't know if the camera can get that or not, but as the Dreadnaughts come on the field, we had a little bit of a special presentation. A lot of family members flew in. Ginger Hall, who is a former teacher, they did a special banner for her, a huge banner through the runway of victory where the Dreadnaughts just ran through, and a kind of a dedication to her and all that she meant to Lakeland High School, and a lot of family members here to witness that. So really a cool little opening to this senior night.
A family of Dreadnaughts, and I think that Steve Madden, our former president of our booster club, said that she hasn't missed a game in 35 years.
Oh my goodness!
So that's a fan. That's a super not fan right there.
That's a super fan. We can give that to. And we always talk about once a Dreadnaught, always a Dreadnaught, and that family. And again, we just love hearing from you guys. We love when we participate like that and acknowledging those that have made Lakeland football so great. Because, yes, it's great on the field, but I tell you what, we're just as good off the field with some of these fans. And so really neat way to honor Ginger tonight.
Absolutely.
So good. And, again, we're not that far from kickoff tonight. We have a couple of neat sponsors. We have the Spine Institute of Central Florida, one of our new sponsors, who we're going to be talking more about as the game goes along. We're going to have Dr. Okafor here at halftime to talk a little bit about the Spine Institute of Central Florida and what they do to for the community and all kinds of things. So we're anxious to hear about that. But we love to have sponsors, even at this late time in the season, jump on board. That's what helps us bring this to you all. And there's a couple other broadcasts going on tonight. Of course, we're the official Lakeland webcast. So thank you for joining us. And Fred and I look forward to bringing that to you. We're going to take a brief time out and come back with you to start action in just a few moments. Stay with us.
Agnini Family Dental truly is a family of doctors. We strive to give our patients a patient-first dental experience. Our goal at Agnini Family Dental is to provide our patients with the highest level of comprehensive dental care and prevention. Every member of our team promises to put the needs and concerns of every patient first in every aspect of their dental care. Our family of doctors take a tooth-conservative approach to restorative dentistry with a special focus on sedation dentistry, implant dentistry, and orthodontics. Call to schedule your appointment today and let our family of doctors change the way you look at dentistry.
Back here at Bryant Stadium, and the rain starts to fall again heavily here onto Bill Castle Field. We were talking about the lines of drainage you can actually see on the stadium. Some work that's going to be done here. Steve Matt was telling us pretty shortly they're going to be putting some new roofs on the press box up here, some new windows, even doing some stuff to the field, and so continuing to improve this historic Bryant Stadium. As we are set to get things underway, Fred Lopez, Tim Conti, and immediately some whistles blow and the flag flies as soon as the foot hits the leather. So already stoppage of play as, again, people taking cover and throwing up the umbrellas. Looked like a little bit of anticipation offsides for the Red Devils. They wanted to get down there as quick as they could on special teams and got called on it, Fred. So just a special night here at the last regular season game. The Dreadnaughts, of course, 9-0, trying to make it a perfect regular season campaign. They've done that many times throughout Bill Castle's tenure.
We have a couple of records that we're trying to pursue. We have 17 undefeated regular seasons, so this will be 18. We have 7 perfect seasons, Tim, so this would be 8 this year. And as far as years in the playoffs, we've got 27 straight years in the playoffs, so this year would be 28.
Jared Gonzalez,
cool.
A good kicker's name, set to retry the kick after the penalty, and penalty didn't affect him. He still booted it 5 yards in the end zone.
No problem.
Dreadnaughts will take over at the 20-yard line.
Isn't that amazing,
Fred? That's really great statistics that you put together for us.
17 undefeated regular seasons, so this will be number 18. Unbelievable. And perfect seasons, we've got 7, where we ran the table. This should be, hopefully, maybe this will be the year we can do 8.
That'd be incredible.
And the years in the playoffs is the one that gets me. This will be our 28th year.
Wow. As you mentioned, kind of the road, the second season to the playoffs. This year's state championships are being held in Daytona, so not too far away.
Nope.
Last year, of course, in Orlando area. And we certainly hope to be there, but a lot of work yet to do. And it starts tonight with this last district matchup and the always feisty Kathleen Red Devils. Garnett set. He's going to pitch outside to number 10, who drops the ball. Again, maybe the weather coming into play. Still on the field, and Kathleen perhaps is going to get a score diving in the end zone. Let's see, did they do it? They did.
I think Kathleen recovered.
That's a strange way to open the game.
For a touchdown.
How about that, folks?
We tried to do a wide receiver reverse. Ball was laid on the ground. Kathleen recovers for a touchdown in the end zone against the Dreadnaughts.
Arian Smith, who is trying to utilize his speed to the outside, perhaps has not touched the ball, maybe a little slippery, a little slick, and just kind of lost it, went behind him. And Kathleen, someone kicked it a little bit into the end zone. Kathleen was right there with 2 or 3 players, and who would have thunk it? First points on the board for the Red Devils.
In a situation like this, Coach Castle would bring me back to the conversation this morning. I told you so. Don't ever underestimate your opponent. They're very talented, very athletic. He said on offense and defense, and you always have to be prepared. So now we'll start. Now this will kind of wake up our boys a little bit. And they'll know now this ain't going to be the giveaway game. They got to earn it now. They got to play a little hard, get ahead.
13 seconds into the ball game, and then again the ball slips away, bobbled, so the extra point's not going to be good. But 6 points on the board for the Red Devils, and just as I was about to say, only 17 seconds into this ball game, and the Red Devils have already scored as much as 2 other teams in the past 5 games. So impressive start for them. They couldn't have drawn it up literally any better than that, having a turnover and a score.
That was just a fluke turnover for the Dreadnaughts. Very out of character. It's a wet night. Just some poor execution.
So first play on offense goes for a turnover and a Red Devils score, as the kicker, number 7, Gonzalez, for the Red Devils, will get his second opportunity here in just 17 seconds to boot it away. Third opportunity. He had first a penalty, got to kick it twice, and now he's going to kick it a third time. So that may be some kind of record.
Well, this makes for an exciting early evening.
We like to talk and speculate of what should be, but that's often not the case when you get a football field, especially on maybe a rainy night and you get a crosstown rival. Lots of strange things, approaching Halloween, kooky things can happen. Who knows?
It's like you said, Tim, big games like this, sometimes you can throw out the stats. This is for the city championship. Remember the old city championship?
Oh, yeah. That meant something, still does. Gonzalez set for another kick, booted at the 40. He's got quite the leg, and line drives it back. And it's touched there by Fenley Graham, and it bounces in the end zone, so that'll be a touchback for the Dreadnaughts, who will start back at the 20 for their second try. We'd like to thank Glory Days, as all of us were salivating when we saw Glory Days was going to be the press box sponsor, because a lot of us really love their food, their fantastic wings. They had some boneless chicken wings. They had teriyaki up there, and just as you saw, I was shoving my pie hole full of some chicken wings before, and they're fantastic. So thank you so much to Glory Days and the LHS Yearbook Club for being the press box sponsors tonight. Garnett, let's see what we can do better here. Holds on to the ball that time, straight up the gut. Nice, powerful run by Bowman between the
Nice
center and guard right up the middle there.
That was a typical grind-out offense where we got some good blocking up front and just grinded out a few yards. Good run by Bowman.
Gain 9 yards, brings up 2nd down and 1.
I want to thank Dean Saunders and Saunders Real Estate, Tim, for sponsoring the meal for the Booster Club. They did a great job with their barbecue tonight. So thank you, Dean Saunders, Dean and Gina Saunders, and your generosity to Dreadnought football.
Everyone plays a part, and that's what makes it work. As another handoff, this time to the fullback, Jakari Martin gets the quick snap, tackled by Kelly, but a nice gain, 1st down, Knots. So maybe Coach Castle want to get a little rhythm going here, Fred. Maybe try to avoid any more mistakes, early mistakes.
Yeah, I think he's going to probably take a break from any trick plays at this point.
Yeah,
stick to the fundamentals. Just try and get used to playing with a wet football. I was always concerned about that when I coached with my backfield. I always wanted him to get used to just carrying a wet football.
Trip wide receiver set to the far side. Arian Smith to the near side. He's going to fake the handoff. Garnett's going to keep it. Designed play. Cuts back. Nice little move to pick up nearly 9 yards out, pushing the 43, 44-yard line. Very nice quarterback keeper there.
That was a nice read. He's reading the tackle on that play, Tim. And that was just a good keep. Nice tuck and run.
You can almost sense his eyes wide open, kind of just viewing the field and picking some good spots on a good decision. Dreadnought 1st down, so wow. Picked up 10 yards on the play.
Looks like we're in an I backs.
Strong I, Martin in the fullback position. Bowman, of course, the halfback running back. Looking for some blocks to the outside, lowers his shoulder and picks up about 5.
Coach loves to play power football using multiple formations. That time you had 3 wides in the eye.
Bowman's not afraid of hitting people. He likes contact. He's one of those players that relishes the competition, and that's why he's so good.
He's not a real side-to-side runner. He loves to hit the crease and then just take off, and he's not afraid to lower his shoulder. He's a powerful running back, one of the few powerful running backs we've had in years. We've had a lot of speedy guys.
Oh, yeah.
But he's got the combo. He's the real deal.
Bowman is the lone setback. We're utilizing a tight end on this play. They do hand off left side. Bowman cuts back. Nice move and picks up a good chunk of yardage again. So trying to erase that early mistake. Another 10-yard in the FHS overhead doors, 1st down. Hopefully they get a lot of calls on sponsorship, a lot of 1st downs by the Dreadnought offense. This is, again, if you're just joining us, the 2nd try by the Dreadnoughts. They fumbled their first play of the game deep in their own territory, and the Red Devils pounced right on it into the end zone, and they scored 6. The extra point was no good. And the Dreadnoughts now trying to answer with 9:33 left in this first quarter. Bowman, single set back about 5 yards deep, and he is going to get the call. Nice job of the Red Devils coming up, filling that gap right there between the guard and the tackle and knocking Bowman to the turf.
Coach tried to spread the field, create some opportunity up there in the front, but defense was all over it.
Reggie Kellum, the talented 11th grade running back, who it will be here next year, hopefully, is coming into the ball game. We talked about not a lot of big drop-off. Fred, what are your opinions of Reggie Kellum?
I think he's a good back. Coach Castle's really high on him, too. He's got good moves. He's a great balance. But, it'll be interesting to see what happens next year. I mean, there's a lot of players that are going to be replaced on the offensive and defensive side of the ball.
Reggie's kind of in a slot position, and a nice fake by Garnett, and tries to fire it out to Smith, but about 3 yards ahead of him. Just led him a little bit too much, Fred.
A little bit too much.
Brings up a long 3rd down and 10. Thank you, Knots, again for joining us. It's been a fun but fast season. We've had a lot more away games, so we haven't maybe been with you as much as normal and shifted around the broadcasting team a little bit, but certainly enjoy bringing this to you, and the Michael Barrett team does a fantastic job of bringing the action. Fake to the fullback. Garnett, late pitch. Ill-advised. It's going to go out of bounds. So on a long 3rd down, that was a interesting decision there by Garnett.
Well, he was hoping for what we call a second-level downhill pitch. And DeMarcus was not in tandem with him, and it's could be a great play, but the tailback's got to be running in tandem with him. When the quarterback cuts upfield, that tailback's got to be following him with a good pitch ratio, and DeMarcus just wasn't there. I think he was a bit surprised. Probably a little bit of a premature pitch on the quarterback's part on Shales.
Garnett, the quarterback, of course, now putting on the hat of punter, the 6'2", 205 senior. Looks like the Red Devils will call a timeout. That's their first charge timeout with 8:30 left. The Kathleen Red Devils leading 6-0 here at Bryant Stadium. We'll take a brief timeout. Be right back with you here at Bryant Stadium.
Yeah, any kind of...
Hi, I'm Chad McLeod, and I'm running for Lakeland City Commissioner. I am a Polk County native. I'm a business owner here in town. I'm a graduate of the University of Florida. Go Gators. And I'm a husband and father. My wife Erin and I have 3 young children, and when I think about their future, about what Lakeland looks like as they're growing up, I want our city to be one of the best places to live in the state of Florida. And that's a big reason why I'm running for city commissioner. To learn more about me and my campaign, visit chadmcleod.com.
Not a political statement up here, but I know the McLeod family. Nancy, Chad's mom, is a good friend and client, and great family, and just encourage you to check out what Chad wants to do in his upcoming election. As Garnett boots it high, and they're going to get away from the ball. Takes a somewhat friendly Dreadnought bounce sideways, but it'll nestle in around the 10, and the Kathleen Red Devils have about 90 to go.
In bad weather.
Yeah, this has not improved much. We said, this will pass, and passed briefly.
Right around kickoff, it looked like it was going to be okay, and all of a sudden we've got the monsoon back. So it's a serious rain right now. We've
got these little waves that keep coming through, and for late October, this high humidity is something a little bit unusual. We were talking earlier, someone said, isn't this the weekend that normally we have like 70 degrees, or that cold front enters in and we get to wear our jackets or jeans, and we're having to hide our papers up here from the rain coming in, entering the press box. The quarterback, first offensive play, slings it, the left-hander. Virtually no gain. One of the improvements, Fred, they were talking about was that they're going to add some sliding windows, so we could sure use those about right now to
absolutely
keep the rain out.
Play lost 4 yards, brings up 2nd down and 14.
So did, in fact, lose 4 yards on the play. And a 2nd and 14 upcoming for the Red Devils.
So Gabriel Dindy, who's normally one of our defensive ends, is playing on the interior, Tim. I was talking to Coach this morning, and that was one little kink adjustment they made on the defense. Oh, boy. Here we go. Getting pounded here.
Gabriel Dindy, one of my favorite players. Fantastic to watch. Quarterback. Looks no room there. Number 1, scrambling. Fires it over and bounces off the receiver's hand at the 10-yard line. So he tried to scramble and just create something by getting some space there on the right side, and just did get the ball away, but a little too much mustard on the old throw there. It's coming down in sheets here, Fred Lopez. Look at that rain.
It is. Our viewers can see it on the TV screen. It's coming down, and in person it looks even worse.
The key, hopefully, though, is we don't hear or see any lightning shots. That will, of course, put a real damper on the festivities here, and we'd have to get off the field. But right now, just a heavy soaker here at Bryant Stadium. Low snap, ball in the end zone. Dreadnoughts coming. He's going to have to get it away and just throws it. Intercepted by the Knots at the 8-yard line, but fumbled. Ball picked up. Knots. And are you kidding me?
Touchdown.
Touchdown, Knots.
Looks like we recovered. We fumbled. The Dreadnought picked it up, and we scored.
Oh, my goodness. What a play. That's funny.
It's going to be on a night like tonight, Tim, where the competition is heated. It's a crosstown rival. It's going to be a night of turnovers when it comes to weather like this, I believe, early on. And hopefully we can get back on track and then create some separation. But while the game is close, it's going to boil down to turnovers.
Neither team scored on offense, but we have 2 scores on the board, meaning 2 scores from turnovers. So that was an interception / fumble / had multiple turnovers in the same play. That was very interesting. Just shows you how difficult the conditions are right now for the players. Maybe not used to having the ball be a little...
yeah, we're not even going to kick it. Looks like we're going for 2.
Probably smart. And looks like the Red Devils may have jumped off sides. At least The Naughts indicating that there was movement, and the umpire did confirm that. So it'll help the Dreadnaughts a little bit on this 2-point conversion try. It's one big slip and slide out there right now.
Oh, my goodness.
Kids love this, though.
We got the 2-point offense out there. Looks like they're just going to mash it in. Let's see if it's one of Bill Castle's classic plays.
And it's not, because the ball was fumbled, but Garnett somehow composed himself, bounced off of Kathleen Red Devil, kept his feet, and just
that was a broken play.
In.
I think it was a bobbled snap, if I'm not mistaken. A bad snap. Too late to give it to the running back, and then he just made a play.
It's kind of funny. He turned, Fred, and was like,
nobody's there.
No one there.
No one's there.
No one's home. Better get the legs moving.
It was such a surprise to Kathleen, they didn't even have an adjustment for it.
Yeah.
It's just ugly. You know, it's
one of those games.
It's going to be ugly.
Yeah, it's
in
crazy.
The beginning when the weather's like this. It's almost even hard to gauge the individual talents of either team. It's just hard right now.
Dreadnaughts do take the lead for the first time in the ball game tonight, as you can see on your screen. Our halftime interview will be Spine Institute of Central Florida, Dr. Okafor, and they, of course, are the webcast sponsor as well tonight. So thank you to them, a new sponsor to the Dreadnaught family.
Whoever can gain control of the football in a bad environment like tonight with the weather, it's going to force both offenses to just simplify their play calling. That's what it boils down to. You're going to see some pretty simple stuff. I'd be surprised if either team tries to do something pretty fancy from this point on.
You know, you made a great point, is that you really aren't going to get a good indicator of the talent that's on the field, because you just can't do what you normally do in these conditions. No. But I would say this probably favors Kathleen in terms of an environment to slow down the Dreadnaughts just a little bit and have some things that normally just don't happen.
Well, of course. I mean, you've got a defense that's giving up less than 10 points and an offense that's averaging 40 plus. It's obviously a disadvantage to the better team, no doubt. But Lakeland can also tee off on them defensively and create some turnovers. I wouldn't be surprised if we see our defense step up tonight. And, that was a kind of a fluke touchdown we gave up from our offense, but I think this will provide a great opportunity for our defense tonight.
William McDonald, the number 1, is the quarterback for the Kathleen Red Devils. They're in a strong eye position, familiar to the Dreadnaught fam. Hands off to the halfback, who just gets wrapped up right behind the line. Number 7 making the charge, Sean Smith.
Sean Smith, senior.
Whoo, he came hard.
And Kendall Davis at corner had a close eye on him. I could tell he was itching to just come up from the secondary position to make a tackle. Got a very, very talented bunch on defense, Tim. Fun to watch.
Loss of a yard, 2nd down and 11. So after the fluke turnover and the Red Devils scored, the Dreadnaught defense applying some serious pressure to McDonald in the backfield.
Kathleen looks like they're coming out in 3 wides, and looks like they might be attempting to throw here, which who knows if it'll be a good idea.
Shotgun, and they do hand off, fumble again. Ball hits the turf for the 3rd or 4th time already this evening, and could be not ball. We're waiting to see who's in the bottom of that pile, but the Dreadnaughts seem to think it's their way, and in fact it is.
Football.
How about that? Just what you said.
I don't know that they were attempting to pass the ball, but whenever you're in a shotgun situation like that and the ball has a chance to just bobble and come out of your wet hands, I mean, that's always dangerous.
Well, it would, of course, be an extremely muddy evening, but because of the artificial turf, we do have some pooling and puddling going on, which is pretty rare. That shows you how hard the rain came down. And on the sidelines, we have little rivers running down the sidelines.
And that's in a brand new quality football field. Remember the old days at Bryant Stadium when we had grass? I mean, right now with this kind of rain, it'd be 3-4 inches deep in that muddy grass out there in the middle of the field. You talk about slowing down the teams.
So the Dreadnaughts back on offense, maybe not trying to be too fancy with it, up 8-6 here with 6:09 remaining in this first quarter, looking to take control. Garnett hands off Bowman with lots of space. Bowman easily just high steps it in, and a beautiful carry, well blocked, set up play.
Beautiful off-tackle play, Tim. So that's 1 of 4 touchdowns that he's got to get to break the second place mark for all-time touchdowns.
Just 1 1/4, that's all.
He can tie A.J. Davis if he gets 4 tonight. If he gets 5 tonight, he can beat the record.
You may get those chances because you think they'd stay on the ground a little bit more, perhaps, as the Naughts and Bowman. That gap was just enormous, set up by some blocking. Bowman normally makes a lot of things happen himself. He didn't have to do a whole lot that time except just hold on to the ball.
Exactly.
As an interesting extra point try here. With the slippery conditions, Arian Smith probably has the hardest task of the night to get it down. And he did somehow, and it got through. My goodness. Matthew Word snuck it just over the crossbar. And the Dreadnaughts now leading 15-6, just under the 6-minute mark. One play, 15-yard Bowman run. We'll be right back after this message. Stay with us.
At the Spine Institute of Central Florida, we view surgery as a last resort. When needed, we employ the least invasive state-of-the-art spine surgical techniques to fix the problem at the source. Our highly trained experts provide the entire spectrum of non-surgical and surgical spine care all under one roof. Our unique approach ensures that you get the best results possible, maximize your recovery, and get back to what you love. Spine Institute of Central Florida. Trust nothing but the very best for your spine care.
There you just saw a little bit from the Spine Institute of Central Florida. And again, there'll be our halftime interview. Crazy game here early on at Bryant Stadium. Why not? Something a little different here for the last regular season game. As the rain subsides again, at least temporarily, maybe for the rest of the evening. Have not seen the radar here recently, but decent kick by Word to the 10-yard line. Changing field, the Red Devils has a nice block to the outside, but beautiful tackle at the 17-yard line. Ball comes loose late, but they're going to call him down.
Tim, I don't want to overlook the offensive push from that play by DeMarcus Bowman. That was a great play by Anthony Smith, Zay Yarday, and Navali Smith. Those guys up front did a great job blocking that time. That touchdown was, DeMarcus is talented, but that was a big hole they ran through.
Q Hall coming in there on special teams to make a nice slicing tackle. He is quite the athlete and also a fierce competitor.
Unbelievable competitor. Hard hitter. Makes great reads on defense.
Leader out there for sure. 15 unanswered points now by the Knots. McDonald back in the shotgun trying to just slow down the bleeding. Decent snap, hands off left side, but boy, did that defense converge hard. 3 Dreadnaughts on them.
It's going to be very difficult on a night like tonight when you're limited with your play calling, Tim, against the talented defense against Lakeland.
Jordan Gant was the running back, but Sean Smith just came up and filled that hole and was aided by 2 other Dreadnaughts, loss of a yard.
Brings up 2nd down and 11.
2nd and 11 for the Knots upcoming, or rather for the Red Devils upcoming. The Knots on defense flexing their muscles early, as they have the last 5 games. Back to September 13th with Plant City was the last time anyone put more than double digits on the Knots. And that was late coming, and they scored 19 points as McDonald throws it wide out to number 81, and he sensed a big hit coming.
That was a very dangerous throw. Anytime you're throwing wide like that, especially if it's a little bit of a floater, unless you throw a frozen rope out there, that's a dangerous pass against Lakeland's very talented secondary. That could have been a pick 6.
It's about a 25-yard pass, even though it only went forward maybe a couple yards, Fred, like you said. So much distance to cover, and it gave the cornerbacks the opportunity to just tee off as they read that very well. 15-6. Your score now under 5 minutes here, still in the first quarter.
It's going to take a broken play or a big play to really get Lakeland off their game on defense right now at this point.
Trying to spread that field and slow the defense down a little bit. McDonald calls for the ball. Low snap, looking and just wings it just to avoid some pressure. Daunting task back there. Seeing those Dreadnought defensemen flying in on you. Just no chance for Kendrick Pinion, who is one of their top wide receivers, to even make an attempt at catching that ball. And as you would expect, Fenley Graham is back there with his cohort number 23, Kendall Dennis. They've been the team all season long to return punts.
2 top recruits.
Yeah. Good kicker for Kathleen. Not sure how their punter is, if it's the same guy or not. Can't tell if that's Gonzalez. Well, nice spiral driving kick. Boy, that's perfect. That's exactly what you'd want to do against the Naughts right there. Just drive it down, and thought it may have gone out of bounds, but checks up at the 35, and that's about as good as you can do.
No, that was a great punt. And he had a little pressure in his face, and when he caught the punt, he kind of angled out to the right a little bit, and he took a little bit more steps than normal to get a little bit of a drive into the football. He's lucky that didn't get blocked, but it was a good punt.
Was low but did the job for Kathleen, and now the Dreadnaughts seemingly with the big Mo on offense after stumbling in a mighty way the first try, their first play.
Well, it's gonna boil down to execution of the offensive line. Who wins the battle on the line of scrimmage like this right now? Kathleen's defense is going to try and tee off. If the offensive line for Lakeland can execute, create the holes, we'll be able to move the chains just like we did just now. That was a good
of course,
play.
you can create your own hole if you're Jakari Martin.
That's Jakari. Great run by Jakari. It was a good enough block to create just enough of a crease for him to be able to move the chains.
You don't need a lot for these Dreadnought backs. They will exploit any kind of little seam that you give them. As Smith is wide out this time. And Garnett is posted under center. He's going to throw it to the right side, or handoff right side. Bowman, lots of room. Bowman is going to chug and churn down to the 10-5, and there is a late flag here way back at the 30. Really had nothing to do with the play, but that came in when Bowman was about 2 yards away from the end zone.
I don't know what the play actually, the penalty was.
It may come back.
We'll find out.
It's a shame that would be holding that deep.
Like some kind of an illegal push or block.
Shove or... Obviously not necessary because Bowman was way, way ahead of the action.
Interesting observation, Tim. Remember what I talked about with bad weather? Quarterback is under the snap. Offense, coach is relying on the offensive line to execute. Quarterback's getting under. We're just eliminating risk, and then give it to the runner. Give it to the Pony Express. That's all we're relying on right now. Coach wants to eliminate as many risks as possible. As Booger McFarland likes to say, when he's calling games, give it to the ponies.
Yep. Sometimes, as you know, risk can be good, but it has to be monitored and controlled in this environment.
And coach is not afraid of taking risks, but he also is calculated.
That's exactly right.
The game is fairly close right now.
But that just shows you what coaching does.
Coach is under center again. Quarterback's under center again.
Same set by Jakari Martin this time, who does a fantastic job of just busting the defensive line and getting into the secondary for another first down.
Anytime you pass the ball, that's additional risk. Anytime you do a shotgun snap, that's additional risk. So on a night like tonight, when you got bad weather, you want to eliminate as many risks as possible, stick to the fundamentals, and then pound the football.
Well, Coach Castle recognized early, even on that option or that pitch play, where
lesson learned down there.
Yeah, it's a couple times it didn't go well, so he's like, we'll just take that out for now. Let's get some added points on the board, get a little security cushion, and then we'll see what happens. As Bowman, the running back, following his blockers to the outside, still able to make a decent cut and picked up another 12, 13 yards.
The offensive lineman, the tight end, the receivers are getting a good push up front, and anytime you've got momentum like this, I don't see why it would make any sense to. And coach he may go back to the shotgun snap. He knows what he's doing, but on a night like tonight right now, with the weather like it is and we're moving the chains, I wouldn't be surprised if the quarterback stays under center. But anything can happen.
Reggie Kellum checks back into the ball game. Jakari Martin pops out just for a brief moment. Arian Smith out to the far side. Jalen Roll as well. Trip receivers for the Naughts. Would, in fact, they throw it. Garnett is going to fake, hold it,
quarterback
keep
keeper.
It, and right up the gut. Garnett gets to the 5. Nice job of Shale Garnett getting down into, again, the secondary.
Now that time he gave a pass look. He's got 3 wides. Looks like the quarterback is going to potentially has the option to either make a little play action, throw it, but instead he keeps it. So coach, a little deception there on coach's part.
So I would assume we're close enough maybe for that kind of hammer formation. We'll see, but Bowman in there, maybe an opportunity for his second touchdown here on the campaign to tie the record here tonight. Needs 4 scores. He's got one in his back pocket already. Strong hammer formation. No, this time the up man gets it. Jakari Martin easily walks in. That looks way too easy. Yeah.
It's just power football, Tim.
It's nearly impossible to stop. That you just, again, I always say if you execute that properly and you have all you need is one decent block, and it's almost impossible to cover.
Well, you've got 4 seniors involved in that play right there. You've got 3 seniors on the offensive line, and you've got a senior, and you've got 5. You got a senior quarterback, and you got a senior fullback, and they're all attacking one point at the line of scrimmage.
Very evident as that was as easy of a walk-in from the 4-yard line as you're going to see. Matthew Word,
nice
this
kick.
time that looked beautiful. Straight down Broadway on that one by Matthew Word as the Dreadnaughts tack on another 7 points and go up 22-6. The Dreadnoughts scoring drive, 6 plays, 65 yards. And Jakari Martin capped it off with a 4-yard touchdown run. Very nice job as the Dreadnoughts 22-6.
Senior leadership and fundamental execution at this point.
Yeah, well, they're going to get underway quick. We'll just keep it here as we'll be taking a break at the end of the first quarter. 2:34 left. They're talking about the Lakeland Regional Health Pediatric Unit as we do the wave at the end of the first quarter, and we're going to do that again here at the end of the first quarter.
We will give you instructions when it is time for the Dreadnought wave.
Take a peek, boy. This Dreadnought crowd held fast with all this rain. They're okay with getting a little soggy. I like it. Good job, Dreadnought fans, hanging in there to watch their undefeated 9-0 on their way to a perfect regular season Dreadnought team. Yeah, I said it.
I heard it.
End over end kick.
And I believe it.
2 players crashed into each other at the 15, a little miscommunication, and the guy that ended up with the ball fell down as the rain. Yes, it did not go away. Rain, go away. Come again another day. It said, no, I'm staying here tonight a little longer.
Looks like it may be coming back a little bit. Yeah, we're pursuing 3 records tonight, Tim. Undefeated regular seasons, years in the playoffs, and DeMarcus Bowman trying to catch A.J. Davis for 50 touchdowns. All career touchdowns.
This is
He's at 47 right now.
Rivalry games of the week, as you would expect.
Class of 80, 89, and 88 tonight. Celebration besides senior night. So we've got some Dreadnought alumni here tonight watching the football game.
Oh, my goodness, what an interception. Wow, that was one of the best picks I have seen in a long time. That was incredible. If, in fact, they rule it number 20. Oh, my goodness, are you kidding me? Watch this. He's got it. Unless that hit the ground at the last minute, the ref was right there if he saw it.
The ref was standing right in front of the football, so he must have seen something that we can't see. Dreadnought fans watching it on television at the replay, maybe they can see it a little closer than we can. I'm looking at the monitor.
Ontavian Smith, number 20, seemingly made an incredible interception. Just stabbed at it with one of his hands and then got it, but there he called it incomplete. Maybe on the way down, hit the turf. Brings up a 2nd and long. Not much there to the left side for the Red Devils.
Not to sound like a broken record, Tim, but that's just dangerous offensive execution on Kathleen's part when you're making the decision to try to throw it. But they've got no choice at this point. They've got to come up with some kind of big play.
Tonight, the LHS Yearbook Club would like to make an announcement. They're making memories, and they want to treasure those for a lifetime. Invest in a yearbook for your high school student. Parents, celebrate your graduating senior with a senior ad in the yearbook. For more information on senior ads, go to lakelandhighschool.com/attention seniors yearbooks ads. If you can remember that, you deserve an ad in the yearbook. But they're on sale now through March 6th. Snap, low snap, pressure coming, setting up the screen, and that one goes incomplete. McDonald was backpedaling no one's business back there and trying to find an open receiver and just wasn't there. So to order your copy of the Lakeland Senior High Yearbook, you can go to lakelandhighschool.com. That might be the easier way, and click on Highlander Yearbook. So the JV football team, Fred, finished up their season last week. They won over George Jenkins 16-6 and finished with a 5-1 record.
Fantastic.
So congratulations to the JV football team.
I think historically our JV football team does very well.
I think so. Talent abounds.
They don't like it.
Level.
They don't like it when coach comes snooping around because they fear that he's going to pluck a player or two out of the JV team.
Yeah. Low snap, but fantastic kick. Number 5, Jakari Martin kicked the ball before it went out of play. He stuck his leg out there and actually touched the coach was like, what are you doing? The ball's in play, Jakari.
Everybody wants to be a kicker, Tim.
He was just standing there. I think it was one of those reflexes, when it hits your knee and your leg just kicks out there.
Absolutely.
It looks like someone just hit his knee and he just kicked his leg out and kicked the ball in midair before it actually hit the turf. That was funny.
I remember when I was at practice, even in high school and even college, everybody wanted to try to be a place kicker. It was funny watching those offensive linemen trying to kick a field goal.
That's great. So, unfortunately, that will be a penalty against the Knots. Continue the winning ways. The LHS golf team, the boys and the girls, are district champions. Back-to-back district titles for both the boys and the girls golf teams.
Way to go, Dreadnaughts.
Keeping it rolling.
Love to see the commitment. That means that we've got great student athletes that are working hard and putting in the effort. Love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the school that does the
Boy, look at the rain on the sidelines. Kids walking in the puddles. Love it.
The chin-up challenge for your school.
Fred, talk about a matchup tonight. The undisputed number 1 team in the nation, Modern Day right now in California, is going up against the number 2 team in the nation. So that one is quite the contest out in California. I think it's John Cross or something like that is the number 2 team, but they're definitely Modern Day is number 1 in every poll you look at. So it'll be interesting to see how they match up against the reported. Again, the national polls with high school is a little,
Well, it's based on strength of
but,
schedule.
Yeah, all kinds of weird things.
Right.
But that would be a neat one to watch at least and see what kind of score comes up as Bowman gets to the outside. Bowman trying to cut back, has some room, and gets pushed out of bounds. Actually, decent job of the Red Devils about continuing to move Bowman outside, so he stepped out of bounds there.
Of course, DeMarcus is going to take what's given to him, which he's a smart runner. So he's going to chew up the yards and get as many as he can. I think he's approaching. He wants to try to break the 1,000-yard mark, and I think he's very close to it.
Well, he added 22 on that carry, so it seemingly what's not even that big of a play is a 22-yard scamper. And to
think of all the yardage that he's gotten this year, and he's only really played 2 official quarters per game.
Yeah, that's a good point. Dreadnought comes up. As Fred said, stingy on the passing plays because why? You don't really need to. Bowman, single set back, and he gets the call. Nice,
look at this.
Huge hole. Bowman with the afterburners outruns number 4. Touchdown number 2 for DeMarcus Bowman.
That is a great run.
Halfway there, Fred.
Again, Tim, senior leadership, great execution, simplified offense. Coach is just relying on the playmakers. He's going to keep it simple tonight, and he'll keep the game plan simple and then encourage the defense to just pin their ears back because he knows that fundamentally Kathleen is going to have to take some big risks to make any kind of comeback. He's just going to stick to the fundamentals on both sides of the ball, tell the defense to play hard, and rely on his senior leadership. He's got a talented team. He's got a senior-led team.
Matthew Word set now getting some work and getting back into a rhythm. Smith, a little bit of a high snap, but gets it down. Matthew Word, beautiful kick.
Nice
Second
kick.
Back-to-back. Extra point that lands almost in the exact same spot. You like that consistency as a kicker for sure. We'll keep it here with 1:02 remaining, again, because we are going to take a break at the end of the first quarter. As the Clemson verbally committed DeMarcus Bowman is halfway to that tying that record tonight already with 1:02 left in the first quarter.
He's got 48.
Will Castle keep him in, though, is the score if we get to that critical.
I can assure you, I don't think Castle's worried about
I
stats.
don't think he cares.
I don't think he cares. I called him for some stats this morning, and he was like,
whatever.
I guess I'll send it to you.
He may down deep in the cavern somewhere look at him occasionally, but he's not going to let on that he enters into his coaching at all, because I'm sure it doesn't. He's going to coach the same way, whatever way he thinks is the way to win that game.
He used to tell us time and time again when I coached and played for him, he goes, the only stat that matters is the W.
That's it. He's got a few of them over his career, so I think he knows what he's doing there. It's fun to look at the Lakeland website and just see those state championships rattle across the top there. And rare air is Coach Bill Castle for sure, as you all know that have been watching us for a while. Matthew Word, it's a spinner there at the 15-yard line. And they do get it out to near the 26.
You know, Tim, as I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this, the Bill Castle records, the Lakeland records, the national championships, the state championships, the district championships, undefeated regular seasons, perfect seasons, one-loss seasons, nationally ranked, straight playoff victories, years in the playoffs. I'm just thinking through what it takes to make that happen in a career. I mean, there's great coaches all over the country, but how special is it to be able to be so consistent that you can be at the top of these statistics I just rattled off. Very important. I'll touch on that a little bit later.
It's good to reflect on as the Red Devils just not much there as a late flag comes in. Whistles blow. Gant never did go down, but there is a flag.
And I was so privileged to be a part of that as a player for a few years, and then I even had the special privilege, amazing honor to coach for Bill for 3 years, and got to be part of the inside to see the mechanism of that. And I'll tell you, I've never worked so hard in my life, but I've never had so much fun and had more satisfaction in my life. I love my career in financial planning. I've been doing it 20 years.
I think that's why the coaches do it.
And so much of what I do right now is because of what I learned from my football background from Coach.
Neat? Yeah.
It's just a work ethic. It's a mindset.
To be able to reflect back on that, those lessons, you think all the players that have had those same lessons and have gone on to do great things because of some of those, implementing some of those same things that they saw Coach Castle do. The left-hander fires it out, number 14, just too high. It's scary when you have to stretch your body out like that, too, when you got some defenders coming.
And we're talking about accomplishing these goals at a high level of football in the hotbed state of Florida, which is arguably one of the best states in the country for football at football talent. But to be so accomplished, Lakeland football, Bill Castle, to be able to do these things, you would be astonished as to the routine, the discipline, the attention to detail, the preparation, and you're doing it day in and day out.
Yep. As the Dreadnought defense stiff again. Yeah, it's like when you go to a restaurant and you lay this perfect plate out, and the food is delicious and all works together perfectly, orchestrates together. We're just thinking that's good stuff, right? We get to see the good stuff as fans, but we don't get to see behind the kitchen a lot. We don't get to see all that goes into preparing, in that case, a meal or the ingredients, all those things that go into it. But you got that inside look as we do come to the end of the first quarter, and the Dreadnaughts, as you can see, will walk over as close as they can, being on the field. And over to Lakeland Regional, the Pediatric Center, and the Dreadnought Wave will take place as we all direct our attention over there. And they're shifting on us. They go to different windows, so they're keeping us hopping over there. But I see a lot of cell phones tonight.
To send inspiration to the children and teens healing in the
So a bunch of the children's and teens up there at the pediatric unit that are going through various treatments. As we all take that brief moment to just pause and give a little encouragement, and I'll just count our blessings as well.
What a neat new little tradition that we've gotten started. Means the world to those kids.
From our Dreadnaught family to yours.
And it makes the hearts of our players feel good because they know that they're doing something very unselfish, trying to make somebody else feel good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and all these championships and stuff are fantastic, and it's a good bit of fun for all of us that get to experience it. But there are obviously the reality of kids and people going through very serious things, and to just bring that little glimmer, that little light, is what, as humanity, we should be doing more of, just encouraging and lifting each other up in a very harsh world sometimes, for sure. So.
Somebody was asking me about Lakeland football that's not from Lakeland, who's recently been exposed to it, and he said, tell me about Lakeland football. And I said, it's all I've ever known for 35 years since I was a little kid. I don't want to use the word spoiled, but that's how blessed we've been as a community to have. I talked to a guy today that said when I was in high school and years before me and years since, he goes, we're lucky to win 2 football games per year. And then he was asking me about Lakeland football, and I was able to tell him that it's all I've ever known for 35 years. It's unique.
The start of the second quarter finds the Dreadnought defense picking right back where they left off on a 3rd and 7. McDonald gets sacked. Brenton with the sack, just bull rush by the Dreadnaughts. No chance for McDonald to even take a step. And definitely a world of hurt there. He actually did take one step and then had to go backwards to try to avoid the blitz and nowhere to run. Gonzalez, number 7, is a good kicker. We've seen him boot some, but
let's see how many steps he takes this time. If we get a good rush and he takes enough steps, it could be dangerous. He's got to get it off.
Looks like we jumped a little bit, but the Dreadnoughts, how in the world did we not get that?
I thought that was going to be blocked.
Goodness me.
He's doing exactly what I said. He's taking too many steps, and you got to get it off. And he's coming to the side. He's taking his steps towards the side, he's running. He's stepping right into where the rush is coming from, which is even more dangerous.
If you wouldn't have seen what we saw, the result was decent. But, man, was that close to being blocked. Very close. So they need to shore that up, or we're going to get one of those for sure.
Well, let's see if Coach opens up the offense here just a little bit.
Maybe we'll try a few plays. And
it's a little dry right now.
A little bit drier.
Once the towel hits the football and the football starts to get a little dry, Coach will begin to open up the offense. Yeah, the kids have worked hard, executing a lot of different plays all week long. And Dreadnought fans don't know this, but we run a lot of offense, more offense than you see on TV or you see personally, and the players rep it constantly, and it's nice when they can get a chance to do different things. Ball just outside the left hash at the 45, and Garnett gets the call himself and looks like a running back down there. Did you see it? He was serious. He was working. That was more like a wildcat. That was basically a wildcat to a talented quarterback. You don't need to put in a special back when you got that kind of talent. Just snap it to him.
As you'll hear us talk,
you got 3 running backs.
Yeah, you're right. Garnett is supposedly going to Auburn. At least that is the plan at this point, unless something else changes. Yeah, it is amazing when you talk the drainage. We're looking now is those gullies and those surfaces underneath, those rocks, those things, those layers
absorbs the water
finally
fairly quickly.
sucking down in there, and the field looks much better than it did 10 minutes ago as nifty little run.
Tackled by Javon Williams.
Jakari Martin showing some moves there. He had some skipping and hopping going on.
Sure did.
Results in another FHS overhead boost.
Well, you're just picking up, 10, 12, 20 yards a carry. It's just overpowering to this Red Devil defense.
I've seen a lot of quarterback under center, Tim, and that is no surprise to me. It's just Coach taking advantage of what the environment gives him.
Martin and Reggie Kellum actually in, and they do hand to the fullback, Martin. Late pylon by one of the Red Devils, just trying to get in on the action.
Martin on the carry.
Coach wants to execute and kill the clock at this point.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He just wants to execute, kill the clock. We got a bye week, a late season bye week. I thought that was incredible by Coach. Get the games over with and then have a few weeks off before the first game of the playoffs.
Yeah, a lot of the people were looking at the schedule and noticing that they're like, how come Lakeland has 9 wins and everyone else is like,
people are 6-1, 7-2.
I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on?
7-1. A lot of them haven't played as many games, and they have already had their byes.
That's it. Strong eye again. Bowman wanting it, gets the carry, breaks a tackle down to the 2. Nifty little run off the left side.
That was a great run.
It didn't look like much in terms of, it wasn't a 20, 30-yarder he didn't score. But he broke 3 tackles on that little run right there.
And a play like that kind of shows how powerful he is.
Mm-hmm.
I call that a weight room run.
Oh yeah.
He's a powerful runner. Works hard. You don't realize it that a nominal back can't get that 6 or 7 yards, but a powerful back is going to get those yards.
Second charge timeout, Red Devils, and 29-6 is your score. We'll take a timeout right now with 9:20 in the second quarter, and we'll be right back with you. Talk about some great Dreadnought supporters. Right there, Springer Peterson. The game sponsor tonight. So the Dreadnoughts set up for another score here, 29-6.
Looks like we got our hammer set.
That's just unfair.
Yep.
Jakari Martin just easily scampers in. And not to that running clock point yet, but inching closer. Might be a quick second half. Whew.
Just fundamental football at this point.
We appreciate you joining us again here for the webcast.
My pleasure.
And it's great to have that insight that you give with having been a coach and a player.
The point after is good by
Matthew Word doing a nice job.
It seems like the relationship between the snapper, the holder, and the kicker is much improved. I can tell they've been working together. And that might not mean a lot on a game like tonight, but when you get into the playoffs, the games get tighter, especially if you get into the semis and then hopefully the finals. Got to have a good kicking game.
I think it definitely promotes concentration when you have a game where the ball's wet. You have to really focus in on what you're doing and what your job is.
There's a huge responsibility to the holder and the snapper.
We're getting weird feedback. We can't hear each other. So, Matthew Word.
He's had some good kickoffs
We're getting some feedback in the headphones.
Yeah,
so
we are.
See if we can't get that corrected. Matthew Word set to boot it away. Low driving kick bounces off the knee pad.
Oh my gosh,
still on the turf. Just get on that thing. Still bouncing around. The Dreadnaughts finally land on it at the 11.5-yard line. There we go. We got the headphones situated.
We were trying to pick it up, which truthfully is like the cardinal sin of a fumble.
Yeah,
a fumble.
Right.
We train our players, coach them up to just jump on the football and protect it. Instead
Secure
of
it
trying to
first.
secure it, don't pick it up and try to be a hero, because then it causes a turnover that you should have back to the other team. So it was nice to see that we finally just jumped on it and didn't try to pick it up and do something we really shouldn't do.
Lost track a little bit of how many times the ball has hit the turf tonight. It's been at least half a dozen, I think, for sure.
That was just poor concentration on Kathleen's part.
Yeah. I think he didn't realize it was coming in so hot, and it hit his knee pad and just went flying off there. But Dreadnaughts easily in position to pick up another one. Fake to Bowman. Oh, my goodness is right. Garnett with an enormous gap off the left side of the tackle.
Those seniors up front, Anthony Smith and Zay.
Wow.
Oh, man, those guys they're making it happen up front. That was the left tackle and left guard all day long.
Killing it, making a huge gap. DeMarcus is like, dang, that would have been an easy one. Just handed me that ball.
I'll be honest with you, I think I could have scored on that play.
You could. Okay, I'll give it to you. You're getting older, but you could have made that one maybe.
51, I got a little bit of speed. I got a little bit of speed.
A little hustle. Uh-oh. That's,
oh my goodness.
Juke and Jive and Smith.
I think he got it. Oh my goodness.
I'm pretty sure that was designed as just keeping the opposing teams maybe coming up in the playoffs honest. They're going to have to respect Smith's speed. Jeff Goddard, who couldn't be here tonight. Jeff, we love you, and know you had somewhere else to be tonight. But, we talked a little bit about, is that a design play? We saw that some earlier in the year. It almost looked like he was pulling it back purposely and running. We weren't sure if that was him doing that off of coach's prompting, or he just saw an opportunity or a bad snap. But that one was definitely designed.
I might be wrong, but I'm not 100% sure that that's a fake. But it sure looks like it.
It does, yeah. Maybe he sees something or feels something. It'd be interesting to ask Coach that question.
I will.
So I'd like to hear that. Tampa Bay Tech 14, Wiregrass Ranch 9, as some scores come in here as we get in some of these teams getting into halftime. Long first quarter here. Took quite a while with the turnovers and scores.
It's definitely been a night of turnovers, hasn't it?
Yeah.
After halftime, Tim, we can talk a little bit about some playoff speculation.
Yeah, I like it. 38 points now up for the Knots, so that second half should go quick. There is a flag at the 41-yard line. As the plane now, maybe with some clearing skies, that's a pretty good indication that there may be weather ending when the small planes get up in the air and have an advertisement over Bryant Stadium. Yeah, the LHS marching band took cover. They were in their full uniforms tonight, getting ready to put on a good show, and they had to all take cover. I'm not sure if they're going to perform at halftime or not yet, or if they are going to do after the game. We'll wait and see. But they put on one whale of a show.
It's unfortunate that we had to have some bad weather, because I'm sure that that's affected the crowds, although it looks like we've got a decent, the Kathleen Lakeland games, it always seems like you got more people standing around than you do sitting down. Even if it's at Kathleen, there's just always a lot of people standing around.
Maybe that's where they think the action is.
But I do think that we would have a better crowd tonight, although it's a good crowd, but a better crowd had it not been for the weather.
Number 4 gets the outside for the Red Devils, has some speed and turns it. Did get his shoulders turned late hit, I think, against the Knots, coming to tack on 15 more. So that'll probably bring him into Dreadnought territory at about the 40. Pretty nice return, though, set up by the Red Devils. One of their bright spots tonight. There's a fight going on here down in what in the world's happening?
Uh-oh.
What is that?
The Kathleen Ball Boys are arguing, fighting, I think, with the Lakeland sidelines.
Penalty was a personal foul against the Dreadnaughts.
That's not a good idea.
No, that's something you don't see too much. Emotions, you don't want to see that in a high school game.
There's no reason for that.
Someone saying something to one of the other kids, and then someone throws a push or a shove, and that's what starts. And so They politely said, please go back to your sideline. They did. So McDonald, kind of a delayed.
Just don't hit him out of bounds.
Yep.
Willie McDonald on the keeper.
They're at the point now, Tim, where there's no rain falling. The offense is going to start having to take a few chances, and it could, they're either going to execute or it's going to get really dangerous for them, and Lakeland's defense is going to take advantage of some of those big plays. And at this point, they're just pinning their ears back.
Oh, yeah. And that's if you're a defense, that's one of the funnest games you can have. It's just knowing that you pretty much got the game covered point-wise. Just let it fly. Take some chances and risks. And
I wouldn't be surprised if Coach starts to, I haven't noticed the numbers on the field yet, but he'll probably start removing some of the starters here a few minutes before halftime.
Low snap, but held nicely by McDonald, looking to fire it over the middle. And just what you said, that was intended for number 81, and that
was Finley.
Yeah. Complete. Broken up by Finley Graham.
Yep, broken up. I wouldn't say broken up. It was thrown over the head of Kiame Ivy and number 18, or 81 rather, and Finley Graham just probably not expecting it to go right through the hands of number 81 and just not quite ready for it.
But they've either got to run the ball and get to a running clock situation and let the game end, or they're going to try to open it up and try and take some chances and see if they can create a big play or two, see if they can get a quick strike touchdown. But that's going to be very dangerous for them. This is a talented bunch of seniors.
3rd and 12, tall order here for McDonald, and that was the worm burner snap. It's whistles blew. They gave a little grace on that one as one of the Lakeland players hit McDonald, but
a Kathleen player knocked him into him.
Yeah. We'll go against the Knots, though, offsides, helping the cause. 3rd and 7 still, though. We would say that is still 3rd and long, especially against this Dreadnought defense. They've only had a few plays that have been successful past 7 yards tonight, so I'd give it a 10% shot.
The field has drained nicely.
Yeah.
It looked like they're...
you wouldn't have known what we just went through here.
No. But it also goes to show just how much rain dropped in a short period of time.
That's exactly right.
It looks like the Dreadnought fans are having a good time tonight. And you like to see that. Especially
here come the Knots setting up that
screen.
And there we go.
Tim.
Now he got it. This time number 20 read it perfectly and scored.
I don't think he's a starter.
Smith.
Is he?
2-0. Yeah, he was a 12th grade linebacker.
Yes. That's it.
So just reading the quarterback all the way, saw that it was a screen, and just broke on it beautifully.
Yep.
I mean, beautifully. As you see the replay right there, that was no doubt.
That's what happens when you're trying to make a play.
Just what you said.
It's either going to work or it's going to be a big-time turnover, big play on the defensive side. So Lakeland's just doing what they're coached up to do.
Yeah. Well, number 20 was the one that kind of got the interception taken away from him. He's had a great game, broke the ball up, and we thought intercepted it back here at the 30-yard line. This time, no doubt about it. No question he was going to leave nothing unanswered.
Tim, I don't think this is going to be a fake play call here.
Yeah.
But you never know.
At the half-century mark are the Knots with that score, up 50-6. And I think Matthew Ward's probably just going to kick this one as Smith puts it down nicely. Low shot.
I think he snuck it through.
Oh, my. He did get it through the left bottom corner.
The Dreadnought scoring recap is brought to you by Southern Homes.
So the Dreadnoughts go up big time, 51-6. We'll take a brief timeout with 4 minutes left in the first half. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Which brings the score to the Lakeland.
We're back here at Bryant Stadium, Mid-State Industrial. one of our sponsors, has been a game sponsor this year. There at the break, maybe a little bit of humidity sucked out of the air. Feel a tiny breeze anyways.
It's nice and cool tonight after the rain.
There we go.
It always turns into beautiful weather after we get the rain coming through at this time of the year. Those that survived it and wanted to stay and watch the game, which it looks like we still have quite a few Dreadnought fans still here.
Getting treated to
supporting the Knots.
Some big plays, and
I love the banners with the seniors
isn't
down
that
there.
Cool? Yeah, I don't know if the cameras can get those before the game's over. If you see those, they're look like they're new. The seniors on senior night each have their own. It kind of looks like maybe a 2x3 banner or something strung along the fence line, and all various poses, but very well done, high quality banners that maybe hopefully they get to keep or get a copy of to take home.
I would assume the players get to keep them when the game's over.
Matthew having to keep that leg stretched out as the number 4 bounces off his hands.
They're playing way up, and I don't understand that. I mean, the kicker is when you have a kicker that has the ability to kick it inside the 10-yard line, you've got to have a few people that are back. I mean, it just makes no sense that they're playing so high up.
Yeah,
you're struggling to catch the ball, and you're going to create bad situations.
Copeland from the Red Devils has been trying to receive those balls, and he's just, I know when you catch when you're a receiver, you like your hands out front and bring it in, but he's now bringing it in with all, he's keeping his hands way out there, just trying to kind of poke at it, and it's just not working for him.
Matt has been consistently kicking the ball deep, and I don't understand why they just don't make that adjustment. But that's okay.
Under a minute 30 here in the first half, 51-6 is your score. And McDonald's still out there fighting as he's going to keep it. Nice little gap for McDonald. He cuts to the outside and then gets rattled by number 22.
Boy.
No, that can't be.
I don't think he did that on purpose. They're going to call it like some kind of spearing.
Yeah, but
it's a helmet contact.
He kind of got hit into the defender. It's not even really a targeting shot. His body was hit one way, as you see on the replay. Watch, he takes one hit.
Against the Dreadnaughts.
I don't know. Well, Champ Johnson gets called with the spearing to the head, and that's definitely an automatic 15-yarder.
Our youth football league players to Bill Castle Field at historic Bryant Stadium.
See if we can get one playoff here, Tim, before halftime. Looks like they're going to try.
Clock is running down, and the Red Devils will get one more snap at it here at half. McDonald, left side, is going to pick up 4 or 5 yards. Champ on the carry, but that will do it. 3-yard gain. And another late flag. See, things are starting to get a little out of hand here. So hopefully they do get to go into halftime and talk things over and calm the kids down a little bit on both sides, as the first half is officially in the books, 51-6.
Yep. Hopefully the two coaches can talk at halftime and figure out what they want to do as far as the clock is concerned.
We definitely passed the normal 35-point running clock. That's necessary.
And it looks like coaches at midfield trying to figure that out.
Refs are actually talking at midfield, too, to see what penalty is going to be assessed and how at the start of the second half. Are they just doing offsetting? Let's see. There's still talking things over.
Yearbooks are on sale now through March 6th. To order your copy, go to LakelandHighSchool.com and click on Highlander Yearbook.
We heard there's several things going on at halftime. Fred, as you take a little break, we'll be back with Fred for the second half. The Anchorettes are on the field, so it looks like they're getting ready to perform.
The Lakeland Dreadnaughts 51 and the Kathleen Red Devils.
Good times, and all the flavor of New Orleans at Harry's Seafood Bar and Grill.
Few law firms can pinpoint an exact moment that inspired its founding purpose. For Smith, Fedler & Smith, it was 1942 when H. Guy Smith's uncle was paralyzed after a fall in a sawmill. He died 14 months later, leaving behind a family in need. The loss inspired Smith to found his law firm to fight for the rights of workers, the injured, and their families. To this day, Smith, Fedler & Smith remains committed to his mission. Smith, Fedler & Smith.
Joining me in the press box tonight, we have a very special guest and a new friend for sure, Dr. Okafor. Thank you so much for joining us up here in the press box.
My pleasure.
It's great to have you. Of course, a spine surgeon, educator, and community advocate. We know that you do a lot at spine centers, and we're just so grateful to have you as a sponsor and to be able to talk a little bit about what you do and how we can promote what you do better. We know that, with football being such a contact sport, and some things obviously you can't avoid having a contact sport, and one of those things that holds everything together is, of course, the spine. But sometimes those injuries happen on the field, and I'm sure you cringe because when you see certain hits and things happen that there can be some serious injuries to these high school kids. And you, of course, as a spine surgeon, are able to maybe promote and educate on how to maybe do some things so that isn't so prevalent. And so what kind of advice would you give to maybe mitigate some of those serious injuries that we see on the field, spine injuries from this type of contact sport?
Very, very good question. What some people may know or may not know is that about 140,000 kids, high school kids doing football, get spinal cord injuries.
Oh my goodness!
Per year.
Wow.
Of those, about 10 of them are permanent paralysis. And sports and athletic events are the 10% of all spinal cord injuries.
Wow.
The most common reason for spinal cord injuries is automobile accident, but sports result in about 10% of those. With regards to football, one of the reasons why it's quite prevalent is because of the fact that the mechanism of tackle and making sure that people have the right technique to tackle is very, very key. Making sure the school districts, the coaches, parents also should get involved in that stuff.
Okay.
Make sure the players know it, and make sure athletic trainers teach them the right technique. The most important thing with regards to the technique is to make sure that you see what you hit.
Wow.
The reason why is because of the fact that in neutral position, your cervical spine is lordotic, means it has a curve backwards. So that means if you have any kind of impact on your head, the muscles and the lateral muscles and the posterior muscles help stabilize your neck. If you have your head down and you hit with your crown, all the force goes and squeezes between your head because your head stops.
The energy's got to go somewhere, right?
And,
so it's compacted.
And your body continues to move. So it crushes your spinal cord.
Yeah.
So that results in catastrophic injury, if you will. So those are not only illegal hits, but they're not really poor form. And most people who get injured is the tackler, not the person being hit.
Isn't that amazing? It's that guy coming in to tackle.
Exactly. Like the person who was the linebacker from Raiders who got suspended for the season. He hit with his crown. So actually, he was pretty lucky that he didn't have a bad injury from that hit.
Absolutely. Well, that's some fantastic. A lot of people don't realize that. My girls took gymnastics for years, competitive gymnastics. With any sport where you could potentially have spinal injuries, part of it is, like you said, just learning how to fall and how to protect yourself and how to do certain things so that you're not putting yourself in that position where you're taking all the trauma to the spine. So that's interesting. It's something we normally wouldn't talk about much. So thank you for sharing those statistics with us. So
my pleasure.
Unfortunately, when those things do happen, you see them and you're the one that has to correct them or try to do your best to correct them. But part of spine injuries or any injuries, you have pain associated with those type of serious injuries. So as, again, an educator and as a surgeon, what can we do? Because there is a crisis kind of going on in our country with opioids and pain medication and people actually being dependent and getting addicted to those things. What would you say that we could do as teachers, educators, administrators to help to make awareness known so that we can maybe drop some of those rates that it's so prevalent in our country, unfortunately? So.
Exactly. One of the problems is the medication. As you know, the United States comprised 5% of the world population, but consume 80% of the world's oxycodone.
Oh, wow.
And about 30% of the world's total supply of pain prescription opioids. Having said that, the U.S. is one of the worst countries when it comes to pain management and having patients who have pain
it would seem
properly
so.
addressed.
That's right.
And they have double the rate of other countries studied on overdose and death from opioids. That's a very staggering statistics. One of the problems is when people have most injuries of the spine or most injuries of the musculoskeletal system, sprain, strain, fractures, most of them don't require opioids to treat. There's non-opioid treatments, involving relaxation techniques, anti-inflammatory medications, Tylenol, physical therapy, and various other treatments when somebody goes to a spine specialist or orthopedic surgeon to help manage their pain and get them feeling better without using opioids. One of the worst problem is the fact that most kids who get into this opioid, one of the problem is they have a minor injury, sporting injury, and they get on opioids. The problem with that is when somebody gets opioid and takes opioids for more than about 3 to 5 days, they have a significant increase in their long-term use of opioids. And that's what studies have shown. So the most important part is minimizing the use of opioids. When that's needed, using the lowest effective amount and not really taking it more than a couple of days. It's not pain is something that is supposed to be there because we're alive.
Gives us warning, right? Gives us notice.
So you cannot stop the pain. You cannot minimize it. And if you try to use opioids to do that, you have actually the counterproductive effect. It gives you a short-term relief with a big long-term consequence where the pain level actually increases over time. So it's like drinking vodka for thirst. You can drink that, you feel less thirsty for a few seconds, then you're peeing like a horse, then you get more thirsty. Before you realize that it's not effective to help thirst, you're already hooked on it.
So it's all those things coming together. It's the therapy, it's using the minimal amount that you need, educating, and then obviously making the kids aware that or anyone that's aware of this is what's going to happen, here's how we're going to treat it the proper way, and just minimizing those effects. Again, interesting, very interesting.
Quite catastrophic if that's not done.
And so what we're going to do real quick is we're going to look at your commercial, and then we're going to come back and talk a little bit about more of what you do and from a week-to-week basis. So let's take a look at your commercial real quick.
At the Spine Institute of Central Florida, we view surgery as a last resort. When needed, we employ the least invasive state-of-the-art spine surgical techniques to fix the problem at the source. Our highly trained experts provide the entire spectrum of non-surgical and surgical spine care all under one roof. Our unique approach ensures that you get the best results possible, maximize your recovery, and get back to what you love. Spine Institute of Central Florida. Trust nothing but the very best for your spine care.
So a lot of state-of-the-art stuff I saw there, and Spine Institute of Central Florida. And so week to week, Dr. Okafor, what do you do? Tell people what your services you provide there that people could expect if they come in and see you either for consultation or just need some help with stuff. What do you do on a day-to-day basis?
So what we do, we focus on musculoskeletal system and spine care in general. We provide all aspects of spine care, from the minimal invasive procedures, but more especially all non-surgical treatments, because again, surgery is always a last resort with a spine, be it injury, be it degenerative things, sprain, strain, injuries from accidents or anything like that. Surgery is always the last resort. So there's an extensive amount of conservative treatments that help patients get over their symptoms. And usually we use a multimodal, comprehensive, compassionate, but individualized approach tailored to the patient's pain generators, to focus on the pain generators and get it so that patient can recover much faster, recover the restorative function. We specialize in all aspects of spine care, from the most simple to the most complex, from the most simple diagnosis or injuries to the most complex spine, orthopedic injuries and diagnosis. So we kind of
very comprehensive, it sounds like.
Exactly. And we also try to make sure the most important part we care about, that I care about a lot, is to make sure we give them back to the community. Making sure that we are out there trying to make sure that we bring up people from the community that need help. We try to get out there.
That's what it's about, right? Lifting each other up, encouraging people. And, you mentioned that's actually part of your mission statement, is just to be an asset to the community and to give back. What sort of ways that you find are valuable to give back to the community, or how do you like to get involved and actually show what you preach, kind of thing?
So, for example, starting from the employment stuff, we try to get people employed We have about over 80-something staff members and team, very specialized team from the community.
Yeah.
We try to, we've done 5K runs for bullying.
Oh, neat.
To stop bullying efforts.
That's awesome.
And this is something that is very passionate to me. We've been doing other things behind the scenes to kind of help with their bullying efforts, and we have
Fantastic.
another 5K run coming up shortly.
Oh,
we'll be
good.
announcing that when that happens.
Yeah.
We have things, we give out joy drives for kids in need during the holiday season, boost up their mood, give them
great.
Christmas,
Yeah.
give them a magical Christmas. And there's a number of different outreach we have in the community to make sure that we're out there, giving back as much as we can
That's
to
so
the community.
important. Yeah.
Because it's very, very
You're
important.
part of the community, yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very important. We're part of the community, and we want to make sure that we give everybody the opportunity to be able to live and do what they need to do, not only be symptom-free, hopefully, with the condition, but also be able to achieve as much as they can and be the best person they can be.
Best person they can be. And that's part of it. You just said giving back to the community, and now we are so honored to have you as part of the Dreadnought family. And truly, to have you come in, and I can tell, so many surgeons and doctors, a lot of people are quite frankly disenfranchised because they go in there and it's just, hey, let me perform surgery on you right away. And, they think it's just for the money and that sort of thing. But obviously you can tell that's not what you're about. You're about getting people to be the best that they can be, getting them healing in the best possible way, in a comprehensive way, from the small to the very intricate. So it's great to hear that, and great to have you as part of our Dreadnought family, and we appreciate your support very much. We mean that seriously, and we'll continue to support you in any way we can. And
exactly. It's never about the money. It's about trying to make sure we make a difference in life.
Yeah, it can't be
because
about
we are
that.
here for a purpose, and we have to make sure that whatever we're doing, whatever outreach we're given, that we try our best to leave something positive in any walk of life. Doesn't matter what you're doing, what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
That we always try to hopefully make the world a little better place.
Yes.
And if we're making errors here, we adjust things to make sure that we're doing the right thing.
Fantastic.
For people around us.
Good. Are you a football fan?
Yes.
Yes. Are you enjoying the game today? A little bit of a one-sided.
Exactly. Lakeland is doing pretty good.
Pretty good.
They're always great.
Undefeated season. They're going after again and trying to get their second state championship in a row. So
exactly, they'll get it.
We'll see if we can get there.
How it goes.
Thank you again, Spine Institute of Central Florida, and thank you so much, Dr. Okafor. We really appreciate your sponsorship, and it's a pleasure talking with you tonight.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure.
Great to see you.
To you.
Yeah.
All right,
Have a good evening.
All right, sounds good.
Dr. Okafor, and he'll get on it. Thank you so much, and we'll be back for the second half right after this. Stay with us.
At the Spine Institute of Central Florida, we view surgery as a last resort. When needed, we employ the least invasive state-of-the-art spine surgical techniques to fix the problem at the source. Our highly trained experts provide the entire spectrum of non-surgical and surgical spine care all under one roof. Our unique approach ensures that you get the best results possible, maximize your recovery, and get back to what you love. Spine Institute of Central Florida. Trust nothing but the very best for your spine care.
Agnini Family Dental truly is a family of doctors. We strive to give our patients a patient-first dental experience. Our goal at Agnini Family Dental is to provide our patients with the highest level of comprehensive dental care and prevention. Every member of our team promises to put the needs and concerns of every patient first in every aspect of their dental care. Our family of doctors take a tooth-conservative approach to restorative dentistry with a special focus on sedation dentistry, implant dentistry, and orthodontics. Call to schedule your appointment today and let our family of doctors change the way you look at dentistry.
One of the most important things that we do is actually sit down and take the time to have a good understanding, having a customer that maybe is opening another location, and to help them either secure another piece of property. Whenever our customers are successful, we feel successful as well. And just being able to share in that process is a great experience, and that's why we do what we do.
Growing up in Florida, I've always enjoyed exploring the lakes, rivers, bays, and the Gulf. But when entering unfamiliar waters, I do best when guided by a local expert. No one knows the way like they do. Likewise, when you get hurt on the job, you may need help to navigate state and federal laws that protect you and your family. If you find yourself in unfamiliar or troubled waters, hire an expert guide. Hire Smith, Fedler, and Smith.
Hi, I'm Chad McLeod, and I'm running for Lakeland City Commissioner. I am a Polk County native. I'm a business owner here in town. I'm a graduate of the University of Florida. Go Gators. And I'm a husband and father. My wife Erin and I have 3 young children, and when I think about their future, about what Lakeland looks like as they're growing up, I want our city to be one of the best places to live in the state of Florida. And that's a big reason why I'm running for City Commissioner. To learn more about me and my campaign, visit chadmcleod.com.
This is what you expect.
Well, don't worry. The whole family's going to like this. It's not going to be here tomorrow, I'll tell you that much. Hey, Judith, don't worry about that. We'll fix it. We're going to handle everything.
And this is a different experience.
Welcome to Regal.
Every customer that walks through our doors, they have hopes, dreams, plans that they want to execute in their lives, and we are a facilitator to help them accomplish those dreams. I think we should never lose sight of the fact that we are a trusted advisor to our clients, which allows us to really formulate a relationship with an entire family that spans generations, and it's frankly something that brings the most satisfaction to what we do every day.
Good times, and all the flavor of New Orleans at Harry's Seafood Bar and Grill.
Back up high in the press box at Bryant Stadium, and again, Fred Lopez joining me. Really neat interview with Dr. Okafor from Spine Institute of Central Florida. Unique perspective. He talked about spinal injuries and how prevalent through even football and various sports that those injuries can be, and how just maybe taking a few precautions and education can help mitigate a lot of those. So it was fascinating to hear some of the statistics, how many high school football players are injured with spinal injuries, and some that have a permanent kind of consequence in nature. So it is a contact sport, and some of that, it's fast paced, so you can't avoid a lot of it, but there are some things you can educate on, even how how you spear and go in, and how that spine takes all the pressure as opposed to shoulder, and it was interesting, very interesting.
Well, the how to form tackle, the rules have changed.
Yeah, that's what he mentioned.
When I was a player, it was helmet first. You wanted to
drive.
Put your helmet, drive right through the guy, and put your helmet underneath the chin strap of the opponent, and now it's more of kind of a head to the side, leading with your shoulder, coming through with your arms and wrapping, and the equipment has gotten safer. The spearing, the rules have changed. I mean, we see that in college and in the NFL now.
NFL,
with
crazy,
the way the referees, the way the the replays are now, which is, sometimes it's a bit, you might think it's a bit ridiculous, but it's all for safety of the players because a larger number than we think get hurt.
Yeah. It's ridiculous until one of your loved ones or someone you know get injured, and then it's not so
we don't
ridiculous.
see it here, but it's happening.
Yeah, that's it. So, anyways, the first half obviously owned by the Dreadnaughts, and I know you were talking a little bit about kind of our seniors being senior night this year and just kind of giving them some props because this last regular season game for them, again, hopefully a few more games here at Bryant Stadium, but we do have a bye week coming up. So as we're turning around, the rain was coming down, and so the only reason the Dreadnaughts would go off the field is if there was lightning within that proximity that they have to clear the field, and we have to wait a while. So we are getting word that it's weather-related. Michael threw the arrow out there that they forfeited, but as a possibility. But there's, I guess, some warnings going on, maybe even a tornado warning.
Yeah, it looks like there's a tornado warning.
With Kathleen having gone what they just went through, Fred, here last week, more severe than what a lot of people thought.
Sure.
When you look at hurricanes coming through and then you don't see much damage, but then you have a regular storm come through and tornado hits and wipes out several blocks. And warning means that there is one that they've spotted on radar on the ground or some kind of turn, that bow echo thing that they see on the radar. So not too far from now, a 9:15 end date to the tornado warning, but they are asking for people to clear the stadium, which seems like a big hassle, but it's a normal precaution that they need to do.
Yep.
And so we'll be in a delay for a while here, so I don't know if we're going to talk this long. We may just go into a little weather delay.
We're under a warning.
Yeah. We go into a little weather delay and then wait and get back with you when we have more information. But right now it's 9:15 is kind of when the tornado warning is going to officially end. I don't know if they have to wait another 10, 15 minutes beyond that.
I would imagine, Tim, that with a score, as lopsided as this, that if it's delayed long enough, the coaches may get together with the referees and just decide to call the game. I would imagine, after if we're 30 to 45 minutes from now, I can't imagine that this game comes back.
Why put everyone kind of through that?
So I can't imagine that.
Sometimes common sense will
especially
actually prevail.
Endangering the players. I mean, it's hard to keep them loose in the locker room. So I would imagine this game might be over, but who knows?
We'll see how long that takes. What is the time right now? Do you have? I don't know if you. I'm not sure what. 9:07. So not that far. Oh, that's that quick. Just like Fred said, again, sometimes he was right. It was maybe a different reason. They afterwards, as Michael's throwing his cheering up, he's like, "Yes, I called it." But so again, sometimes there's no reason to put anyone in danger. Everyone's already soaking wet. To play the game as a contest wouldn't make sense for the rest of it. It's going to be a running clock anyways. What we're hearing is obviously the first round of the playoffs will be here 2 weeks from tonight. We're not sure who we're playing yet. But as we round things out, let's just talk a little bit about that second season, what we can expect, maybe a little bit of the rules, what's going to go on here as we move forward into the playoffs now.
Well, I think that the speculation, and I was talking to Coach Howyer and Coach Cat, just a few coaches and their speculation, but they think that we might be seeing Melbourne here in the first round. And then after Melbourne, it potentially could be Vieira, which would be a rematch, a little grudge match.
Yeah,
both games should be potentially here at home because it's based on – right now we're ranked second in 7A, which gives us home field advantage.
Yep.
Because it's on a point system and strength of schedule, and I haven't quite figured it all out yet, but it's based on those two factors.
Those crazy formulas that they put together.
But and then what's more interesting than that is the third round potentially could be a matchup between us and Armwood. If the teams kind of went out like they should, should be us and Armwood, either here or home or away, and then after that Orlando Edgewater. In the semis, that's the path. That's the predicted path of games, and then of course it puts us in lockstep to have another reunion with St. Thomas if they went out on their side of the brackets, which they seem to have a pretty clear path to the finals from what we've observed and what we've learned from just game planning.
That's as good of a picture as you can paint it as far as what we know.
Yeah, so it looks like we may have we'll have 2 home games for sure in the playoffs. Looks like we could potentially have 3. We may be on the road in the semis. I wouldn't be surprised if we're on the road in the semis. But, again, based on points, strength of schedule, we could – and the semis could be either Orlando, Edgewater, or Niceville. And we all get chills when we hear Niceville. Tim and I called the Niceville game last time we were in Niceville. And the people in Niceville, they really are nice until kickoff.
Yeah, until the game starts.
Until the game starts.
Total Turnsville.
Turnsville, that's right. They're not so nice in Ninesville after kickoff. So, and I've got nothing against that community.
No. I share people. That's where I was born.
Nice
that's where I was born. So
there you go. So
that was my last resort. When you dissed me, I was like, I was born here. That was my last hope.
I was having some fun with the fans.
Yeah, that was good.
And it was time for me to go before the game ended.
Yeah.
But, that would be neat. Of course, I wouldn't be excited about traveling to Niceville, but if we got to play Orlando or Niceville either here, at home, that would be fine.
So I know we're big with tradition, but by default, you didn't leave before the end of the game tonight. So
no, I did not. I'm still here, and the game's over. Something is not right.
Something is weird.
You got me.
That's one way to do it.
You got me. But,
end the game, and Fred's still up here.
That would be fun.
Yeah,
and
that would be
Dreadnought fans, I hope the best for next year. But I think you can all agree with me if you heard me earlier when I said that we got one junior, we got one underclassman on offense and 2 underclassmen on defense. This is going to be a high turnover team next year. It'll be a different team next year. So this is a special year. Hopefully we can finish out. It would be neat to get back to back. Have a shot at back-to-back championships. We don't want to think too further ahead. Of course, I know Coach would not like me to speculate too much, but we've got a very talented group of players, and hopefully they can continue to execute. They're good kids, and they're playing hard, and boy, are they talented.
They're executing. And they're great right now.
But so tonight,
51-6.
Tonight, what did they do? Their senior leadership showed, except for that little
first play.
And I'm gonna, Coach, I love you, but I'm gonna blame that one on you.
Right.
That wasn't a very good play call.
First play right back there in the deep start.
And then of course he did of course he's gonna get me for saying that.
I'm sure.
But then we settled down. Coach recognized the weather, put the quarterback under the center, and then relied on just fundamental hard-nosed football.
18 points.
Got it done.
18 points against in the last 6 games. That's it. 18 points total scored against our defense in the last 6 games.
Yeah, how about that defense with the turnovers?
Unbelievable.
Amazing.
Yeah, and
for all the offensive talk about Coach Castle, really, you could be argued that he's a defensive guy.
Yeah, several standout games on defense.
His best teams have had
always
record-breaking defenses.
Absolutely. I mean, we had those star backs and those people that you can look to and say, oh, they made it happen. But no, it's that defense that shuts it down first, which enables the offense to do their thing.
I don't want to overlook our defense.
Championships.
Every state championship, every magnificent team we've ever had.
Yeah, you got to have that piece.
So you could easily call Coach Castle a defensive coach. Easy.
Yeah.
As well as an offensive coach. I mean, he's a special guy.
That's it, for sure. So
you can't beat me in golf, though. He can't beat me in golf.
That was the gauntlet thrown down right there.
He can't beat me in golf.
Oh, my goodness. He might retire just to practice to beat you in golf.
That's it.
You know how he is with competitive nature. So, anyways, we'll wrap things up here. And kind of a crazy evening. Half of football in the books, but 51-6 the score. The ball hit the turf, all kinds of interceptions, turnovers. But a lot of fun as the last regular season game on senior night. And it's a pleasure as always doing it with you, Fred Lopez, and
Thanks,
brother
Tim.
and friend for sure up here. And we love bringing this to you. And Michael Barrett and the team, we thank them very much. So we'll see you in 2 weeks, everybody. An off week next week, our bye week, and then we'll be back here at Bryant Stadium to get things going in the second half.
Shout out to Coach Leitner. I love you, Coach.
Hey, Coach Leitner.
Hope you're watching, man. Thanks.
Good deal. So as we sign off, Fred Lopez, Tim Conti, Michael Barrett, thank you so much for joining us. And as always, God bless and good night, Dreadnaughts. Take care.